Yeah, man, it's Worldwide Sounds Records own DJ Chase, man. The PreGame PartyMix podcast. You're rocking out the Rush Hour PartyMix on Connecticut's own Smack 'em Radio, and we got the one and only Mitchell Bailey in the building, artist extraordinaire, Canada representative. How you doing, brother?
Whoa, bro! What a great introduction that was. Good, man.
Ain't nothing, man. I am just chilling, making sure everything sounds good, making sure everything sounds great for the fans, for the supporters, man. How you doing during this COVID crisis stuff going on?
It's crazy, man. Honestly, I think I'm at a point now where, obviously, I just released the COVID-19 single, so, I'm keeping it on brand to talk about it a bit, but I feel like I'm used to it now,
Yeah. It's definitely becoming normalized, yeah.
Yeah, because you're right out of New York, right? And it's still terrible there, like it was about a month
ago. It's a mix of both. It depends on how you look at it, though. It's like because there's nobody outside, so people are just trying to make the best of it and getting cabin fever. So it's really just how you look at it,
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's not at its peak anymore as it was. I know, like about a month ago, but I feel like I'm following it a little bit less in the news now. About a month ago, I was like, every day I would check to see how many cases there were in Nova Scotia, where I live here in Canada, and like how many deaths. And I'm like, it's just, it completely consumes you if you're like totally keeping up to date with everything. It's impossible to be super up to date. But I just kind of just accepted the reality of things right now, and I'm just trying to make the most of it, really.
Yeah, man, you have to, because I know they closed the borders from anybody, because I definitely was trying to escape, so they closed the Canada borders.
Canada.
Yeah, they closed the border. Yeah, it's crazy. So is it now you
gotta stay here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. So first, for the people who just now tuning in, man, you are a rapper, correct?
That's my title. You can say that. Rapper, hip-hop artist, performer, songwriter, human.
All right. Word. Nah, man. So how's it feel being from Nova Scotia? You don't hear a lot of especially in the States, because we're kind of elitist in a way. So we don't really pay attention to anybody that doesn't come from my neighborhood. So how does it feel being an artist? Yeah, how does it feel being an artist from Nova Scotia?
It feels good, man. I mean, I think that on a more like global scale, like as I progress and I develop my audience through, like social media, and I travel a little bit as well. Like I've done shows, like even in November, I did a headline to showcase down in Dallas, and anytime I ever go and perform down in the States, like, I find it's kind of unique to be from Canada and not necessarily be from like Toronto, Yeah. Just like Canada, it's Toronto, But Nova Scotia, we're out on the East Coast. I think it's unique on a broader scale, but there's a lot of talent here, and man, I'm from like a small town on an island in Nova Scotia called Cape Breton Island, and it's about like 17,000 people in the town that I'm from. So currently still live here. So I guess it's kind of different and unique. But there's a lot of great different hip hop artists and rappers that have come from out of here. So
that's dope.
It's a cool place, man.
Yeah, man, that's dope. Send them my way too, man. And so because I've been in Toronto, I love it. If I have it my way, I'm gonna probably retire and move there. How far? Yeah, how far is Nova Scotia from like Toronto? Toronto's about 12 hours. So how long is Nova Scotia from New York?
From Nova Scotia to Toronto?
Yeah, well, no. I'm sorry. I said it wrong. From New York. Excuse me. My fault.
Oh, from Nova Scotia to New York?
Yeah.
I actually went to New York. I flew to New York. There's a direct flight from our airport here to Newark.
Okay, yeah.
But to drive to New York probably would take, because I'm about 4 hours away from New Brunswick, which is like a 3-hour drive once you get to New Brunswick to the border that takes you to Maine.
Okay.
So you go Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. It's so hard to say. I don't know. I would say like
just a little trip. Yeah, definitely. Word, man.
But
I'm sorry.
If I left right now, bro, I could probably be there by tomorrow afternoon.
Oh wow. Okay. I got you. So it's a little trip. Yeah, because I want the reason I was asking is because what made who your influences coming out of Nova Scotia, Canada? Who's your influences? That make you want to rap.
Good question, man. I think I feel like it isn't always like super like territorial, because when I was starting to write and record and stuff and listen to a lot of hip hop, I was like the internet was mainstream at that time. So
Yeah.
I had access to look up any artist that was getting popular at the time. So like when I first was really listening to a lot of stuff that wasn't just like the most popular shit, like when Daft Punk was like super popular and like get mixtapes and stuff, but like like the whole Kendrick Lamar, Absol, TDE things, like Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa, like that was when I was like starting to write, like when these guys were kind of like just coming out and were getting like really popular.
Got you.
So yeah, and I mean obviously like I know like Drake is just like the standard Canadian response I would assume for a lot of people were really like But like when I was like 7th grade was when Drake released Thank Me Later. So he was like honestly like when I first started listening to rap, it was like I was an Eminem, Jay-Z, and then the next one was Drake because he was he was getting super popular and he just came out. So I've been like following his whole career. So it would be kind of crazy to say that he's not an influence on me. But also like like Travis Scott and like a lot of different guys like that. But I don't know, ranges, man. I honestly like everything.
Okay. So what's the sound like? How would you describe the sound? Because you kind of know everybody's familiar with the Toronto sound, and like what would be like the sound from your region? How would you describe like more slow vibe, chill wave, conscious?
I think I can feel like majority of Canada. I mean, I can only speak for myself and what the kind of sound that I use, but like my stuff can range. But mostly for me is like I like to, I'm a big lyrics person. Like I care. Like that's what really makes me gravitate towards a song. If I can like, I know this person's story that they're telling. It's not to tell a story, but like I know that it's just it's personable to them. Like nobody can replicate what that person's talking about because they're an individual and that's so my thing is like my music is really about whatever happens in my life, but I'm big on songwriting, so I don't know, I would say like I could do like the boom bap stuff a lot. I have done a lot in my career, but like also like more like wave sounding, like more modern sounding beats, but with like a very technical style as well that also incorporates like melodic choruses or something that like could appeal to everybody. Like I like to get like a singer on the chorus and then like I do my thing on the verses and really try to make different songs for different demographics and whatnot. But for a lot of Canada, I think the focus is really still on like who can be the best rapper. There's a lot of really talented artists up here.
Yeah, because also too, because in New York they have the drill sound now and more like that. The UK drill is picking up big, especially on the internet. So I don't think. Well, I mean, Canada had it because you have the I guess the London influence over there. So I know the grime sound and all of that. So that's why I was more like, because I know like me, even like I like Nav. I'm a big Nav fan. So the EXO like that sound, I like that sound. So. Yeah, no, but also too, as far as now with Nova Scotia and that area up there, that's a little further out. Do artists like yourself already has a huge fan base? But I'm very sure you had to work your butt off to get that. What, how would an artist tour or how would an artist break out in your region? Is it like independent artist friendly? Is it like a crab in the barrel city, or like you just have it a little, you just work your magic?
I think it's pretty subjective to the artist. I think there's definitely artists here that have like in Canada that have like platinum or gold records that are like very successful within Canada, and they also like I find like a lot of that success in that fan base in Canada. But we have those the mainstream like the high school kids definitely like also listen to like 6ix9ine and like whoever, like that shit exists up here too. Like there's not too much of a difference as far as like what people are interested in. And as you said, like the drill stuff and trap and the new wave, like that stuff definitely all exists here. And there's artists that a lot of those artists, I still think like the bigger ones are from Toronto. But as far as like breaking out, I believe that the thing is with like algorithms of Spotify and YouTube and all these streaming platforms and social media, like an artist can release a song here and it can get super popular and somewhere in the States and just catch on like it would with an artist in the States. That's still very capable of happening. Like I know Spotify, like just because of some playlists I've been on, like most of my listeners right now are from the States, but I mean I don't know who a lot of them are. Like I have like more of a core fan base here for sure. Like I've done like tours throughout like East Coast Canada, and I was planning on doing something like this year, like this summer. Like who knows what can happen now because of the COVID stuff, but I wanted to go to the West Coast, like Calgary and Vancouver and those cities and stuff, and open up a bigger artist out there to grow my audience out there, and then do my thing on the East Coast and then go to Ontario and Quebec. So like touring is definitely important here to break out, but like it would be anywhere really. It's kind of like pretty much the same approach as it would be probably where you're at. It's just Canada's a big country, and it's just a big. It's like to travel anywhere, it's far. Like the second biggest country in the world as far as land. So
I feel you on that. Yeah, because now we're gonna get into season 1, the big project, number 6 on iTunes. We had 850,000 streams.
I sent you the bio, so you know the stats.
Yeah, man. So what inspired that project? Like from the production, from the lyrics. What made you just say, you know what? I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna make a full-length album.
Well, you know what? With the season 1 project, so I did a series of EPs from fall 2018 till the end of 2019. I released like a bunch of singles and random remixes and videos in between and stuff. But the season 1 project, so that came out on September 6th, 2018. And what I was doing for like the whole month of August, like the beginning of that year, I recorded so much music and I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. So I shot me and a couple. I have a lot of friends that do video work and stuff. So I got them to shoot like a little snippet of like I would do like a verse from each of the songs, and then I would post a snippet on Instagram. And I was doing it every 2 days for like 2 weeks, and then my buddy mentioned to me like halfway through it, he's like, you should like take the songs that people like the most and put them onto an EP, and maybe they'll do like a series for it. And I was like, oh, that'd be crazy, like the concept of like a Netflix show, like season 1, season 2, season 3, and then I put like 2 songs that I didn't do stuff on that project, and 3 songs that I released like a verse from on social media, and then the full version's out on season 1. And then I like that formula, so I did it again 2 months later with a second one, and then I feel like I completed the season series now. Now I'm working on a full length for the summer, but that's how it happened. There's the story.
Dope, man. And you self-produce your music, or you get beats from like different sources?
Well, I don't produce, but the guy I mostly have my stuff produced by the same dude who's like a part of my team. So my team, and like we're building like a record label. It's called Young Superstars Inc. And that's what all my music's released under. But it's like my company. But Sean Lewis is his name, who produces like 95% of my music. He's like the in-house producer, and I've been recording with him since 2014. So he produced. I think he produced every song on that EP but one.
Oh, okay, dope. All right, so now I know you're a big touring artist from what I kind of could see. So with the COVID and everything like that, I know we met through just crazy how we met. We just the Spotify playlisting. So is that part of your marketing strategy to build playlists and to build that following from your self playlist?
Yeah, well that's what I did. I was just looking at because there was some artists that I have worked with in the past that I saw were like they curated some of their own playlists, and those playlists were starting to get followers. And I was like, that's such a good idea because you know, the more playlists that you're on that have a bit of followers, or just in general like that contributes to your song being placed on Spotify's different like Discover Weeklies and Release Radars, and it's just like I've watched enough videos on like the Spotify algorithm where it's like they're like, you know, every little follower you get or stream, or like how long people listen to your song, it all counts, how many playlists you're on. So I was like, damn, I need to make my own playlist, and I just put it on that site, and It's crazy, man. The submissions that come in on that site, bro.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
that's
the
so
same
cool
thing with
with
me.
internet,
I just
man.
don't
You
have
know
the
that we
time.
were connected.
Yeah, definitely. I started doing playlists. I just DJ so much, so I can't keep up with it. So I was
Right.
like, I'm not like sitting home just like, all right, let me just do this. But I respect anybody, and I want to say thank you for putting the record. And we just bought it, and that's what it's about. To artists that's tuning in, Mitchell Bailey, DJ Chase is to tell you right now. It's about networking. It's about bartering. It's about showing support back and forth. You feel me? Now, one of my big questions is the COVID-19 track. Now the numbers on that is crazy. The press behind it is crazy. What inspired that song?
Well, the producer that I just was mentioning there, Sean, because he works in retail as well as running his own studio and stuff. So he's been seeing firsthand like the craziness of people being out there, and like I think it kind of drives him nuts a little bit. So I think he was just making a beat that was kind of like describing how he was feeling, a kind of that gloomy like down. But he messaged me. He's like, man, we gotta do like a COVID song. And at first I was like, yeah. I see people doing that, but I was like, you know what? Like as an artist, I think every perspective is different. So I'm entitled to give my 2 cents on everything. And I think the song, the lyrics and the song kind of provide like a little social commentary of things that have happened, and also like my point of view on everything, but and how it affects me. But that's how it came together. And the guy who's on the hook, he goes by name's Jordan. He has had a couple like big records here on the radio.
That's the singer,
Canada,
correct?
so
That's the guy that's the guy that's singing on the hook, right?
Yeah, he has a song called like if you go on a Spotify, it has like 1 million streams or something. But like when I was young, like he had a couple hit songs on the radio here in Canada, so it was cool to get him on the phone. And he's also from Nova Scotia too, so it was dope. But as far as like the press picking it up and stuff, like over the last few years, like I've done enough things like where like the local newspaper and like the radio and all these people, like they'll pick it up. So now I kind of have a couple contacts in my phone whenever I do something that I'm like, this is worth a story that like the general public could be interested in. I'll hit them up and be like, yo man, I got this new song.
Yeah.
You want to do an article on it? Because it's good too, man. If you take a picture of even the newspaper and you post it up, people are like, oh, that's crazy. And they go,
yeah, that's what's up.
So
that's what's
like,
up. Yeah.
It's good marketing.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to ask you before we get out of here, you want to indie versus major? You want to stay independent, or do you want to go major?
You just say anything? Is that what you said?
No. I said, do you want to stay independent, or you want to go get signed to a big record company?
Oh, that's a big crucial question.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, man. And it's interesting that you would ask that, because I did an interview yesterday. It came out where I talked about that. I think it all just depends on the situation, because there's a lot of artists that definitely you see on social media complain about their label situation, like they didn't know what they were getting into when they first signed. And then there's also artists that are signed to a label that have had a lot of success that you never seen complain, So I think it just depends on if the deal makes sense for what you want. Because the thing is, I believe like labels now, because artists can make themselves pop in themselves by just on social media, you know what I mean? Like, and labels, and because of that, labels won't probably reach out until they see you've already got like some independent success. So it's like the label needs to be able to offer something that you can't already bring to the table yourself or already have, Yeah,
definitely, man. All right,
and the independent grind is dope, though.
Yeah. I feel you. And have you been seeing the rewards from that? Like, do you see the financial rewards from that?
From being independent?
Yeah. Do you see a lot of the reward?
I see things start to progress, definitely. I mean, like you said, man, like it's a lot of work, and I've been doing this since in 2013 when I was 15, so
yeah.
A lot of learning curves over the time, like money that you got to invest that just because of the opportunity that can lead to more people to like make money. Because you got to be kind of crazy to do this, but you got to also, you got to love it. So every little victory is it just feels so good. But I think things are starting to pick up now, definitely, man, and it's exciting.
Yeah, man. Mel, like I said, Mitchell Bailey, I want to say thank you for calling in. We're gonna do this again, so don't worry. We got a whole
100%, bro.
You're gonna do this again, man. Give the people your social media, everybody that's tuning in on the podcast. Once again, this is Mitchell Bailey from Glacier Bay, Nova Scotia. So yeah, give your social media, give all that good stuff so they can find you.
Yes, so at Mitchell Bailey 7 on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, just Mitchell Bailey Official. If you look that up, you'll find me, my artist page. You know, just search on Spotify, Mitchell Bailey, search on Apple Music, Mitchell Bailey, search on YouTube, Mitchell Bailey. That's straightforward. It's my government name. It's my artist name. So pretty easy.
There you go, man. Thank y'all. It's the Rush Hour Party Mix right here on Connecticut's on Smack 'em Radio. The pregame Party Mix on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Audio Mac, and Mixcloud, and DJChaseDigital.com. Don't forget. Yeah, man. Mitchell Bailey in the building. Yeah.